Hello, everyone. So, today I want to talk about why the complacency of Hindus is a problem. That chalta hai attitude, or you can say that arey ye to aise hi hai, that kind of an attitude. Like many places, I've seen that, to avoid conflict or to avoid discussion on the hatred which other people have for Hindus, we just start accepting it and we just start taking it sort of in our stride, and we just keep minding our business. So why that is really a problem? So I want to start by citing an example of the Jews, and that's probably because the persecution of Jews is known worldwide. Like almost everyone knows about them. I know many other people have been persecuted as well, but I want to take the example of the Jews because almost everybody has heard of it at least. So, see, before the Holocaust, before the 1939 to 1944, the Holocaust which happened, before that, the Jews had already been persecuted many times, and anti-Semitism was already a very palpable thing in the European, even in the Middle East society, actually. So it was very much there. It was just not in the same fashion or in the same extent as the concentration camps. But there was definitely discrimination, there was definitely hatred for the Jews, and there was definitely anti Semitism everywhere. The biggest example is Merchant of Venice by Shakespeare. The whole play is basically, just focuses on characterizing Shylock as a very cruel, mercenary kind of a person who would have his pound of flesh, as the saying goes, right? So that is the kind of characterization that was made for Jews for a very long period, much before the Holocaust. And there had been even pogroms in Russia and in other parts of Europe to drive out the Jews. So, of course, some countries are very much more tolerant of Jews, and it was not uh, of that same character or that same extent, but definitely there was anti-Semitism, and many times the Jews had to change their names or they had to hide their real identity just so they can live peacefully, right? Now compare this with what really happened later on. And I was just reading this bit about, people always say that, why didn't the Jews do anything? They should have done something. And when we talk about the fact that anti-Semitism was already very mainstream, even before the Holocaust, we think that, if they knew that they were being hated so much, why didn't they do something? And the reason is exactly the same thing, which I'm talking about in the context of Hindus today, which is that you get used to being hated. You get used to that discrimination. You get used to some new law restricting some part of your religious practice, some new law restricting some movement, something, right? You get used to that sort of a thing because it is something you have just, sort of acclimatized yourself to. And that is exactly what the Jews were doing. Unfortunately, we are just supposed to be learning from them, but that is exactly what happened at that time. They did not think that it will really come to this, that it will really come to the concentration camps in the end. So their alarm bells started ringing when they were forced to wear a star, a yellow star on their person when they leave the house. Now, I don't know when our alarm bells will start ringing, but what I'm trying to say here is that many Hindus have seen that there is so much discrimination, so much subtle level of hatred, so much subtle level of contempt for Hindus just for being Hindus. If I write that I am a proud Hindu somewhere, suddenly people almost automatically assume that I'm a fanatic, that I'm an extremist, that I'm, whatever, n number of things. And what exactly is that? That is exactly the same thing as what the Jews were experiencing at that time, right? That is anti Hinduism. That is Hindu phobia. When you have characterized Hindus as peace disturbing, when you have characterized Hindus as criminals, as terrorists, and that is Hindu phobia. Hindu phobia means characterization of a certain group of people, in this case Hindus, as terrorists, extremists, blah blah blah, That is what Hindu phobia means. Hindu phobia does not mean fear of them. Hindu phobia means characterization of these people as criminals, as someone to be feared. And that is what the media is doing. That is what the government laws are doing. Now, most of you will be knowing that on Diwali, in so many states, fireworks were completely banned. And in other states, there were such heavy restrictions on fireworks on Diwali that you would really believe yourself to be a criminal just for lighting fireworks. You would become a criminal just by lighting fireworks on Diwali. Now, this is not something which is again very new, because this has been happening for several years. It is just that the laws are becoming worse and worse and worse every year. So, what I'm trying to say is that we need to stop putting up with this. We need to stop thinking that somehow our complacency or our tolerance will tide us over. I was very happy to see that many people broke the law, and but also let's remember that more than 100 people were arrested in Delhi for this reason, for just bursting fireworks, for possessing fireworks. People have been arrested. So this complacency of Hindus, where they think that if they don't do anything, if they don't say anything, if they just go along and be happy, good Samaritan kind of citizens, everything is okay. It will not be okay in the next 10, 20 years. If you just behave like, you're living in the moment, makes only the present moment matter, and that's not how it works. Unfortunately, our Hindus have been forced to believe in the stupid ideal of live in the moment. There is no such thing as live in the moment. The people who go around saying live in the moment are the ones who are who never think about the consequences of their action. You have to think about the consequences of your decisions and your actions today also. So this whole attitude of Hindus, where we think that, oh, it's fine if we don't do anything, if we don't say anything, it's not fine. It's not going to be fine the next 20 years. And we should learn from the experience of the Jews who have survived the Holocaust and who have lived to tell us what really made things get so bad. Because I always say this, and to everybody who brings up these sort of arguments, I always say this, that, if you behave like a doormat, people will walk all over you. So we need to stop being doormats. We need to stop behaving like doormats. And we need to really understand that we have to stand up for our rights, because if we don't, nobody else will.